My name is Emily. I'm 27 years old. I remember the day I passed by my husband John's office and decided to surprise him. I had exciting news about a house we could buy. When I walked into his office, I froze. John was frantically trying to hide a half-naked woman behind his back. The woman clung to him as if she were drowning, but with a mischievous grin on her face as she adjusted her clothes. I was so shocked that I couldn't even speak at first. I looked at the woman more closely and felt my blood run cold. At first, her face seemed only vaguely familiar to me, but then I realized with absolute certainty that I knew her from my past. My thoughts went back to my childhood. I was a little girl sitting on my father's lap who was drinking cold beer and loudly shouting "fish" while slamming dominoes. My mom stuck her head out of the first-floor window and yelled, "Mike, come inside! I need your help!" Dad sat me down on a bench and hurried inside, apologizing to the other players. I got bored of waiting and wandered around the corner of the house where a mother cat lived with her kittens in the basement. I loved petting them and sometimes brought them food that my mom gave me. "This orange one is so cute," said a strange girl who came up behind me and sat down next to me. "Mom promised we could keep one when they were older. I'm going to have my own kitten," I told her proudly. The girl simply nodded, looking at the cute, fluffy kittens. "I'm Emily. What's your name?" I tried to make friends, but she didn't seem to be listening. She silently stood up and ran off to join a group of boys. I didn't like those boys. They were mean and picked on the younger kids. They even destroyed my fort. The next day when I went to visit the kittens, I almost fainted. The mother cat and all the kittens were gone, even their box. The same girl was there again. "Those boys got rid of them. They had fleas and mange," she said. "It's all your fault. You have fleas. Stay away from me!" I screamed through tears as I ran to tell my parents. Dad and I searched all the nearby yards, but we never found the kittens. He promised to bring me a kitten from work, but I didn't want another. I was so looking forward to those kittens growing up. I never became friends with that girl. The pain was too deep. But life has a funny way of bringing people together. We crossed paths again in middle school. The teacher announced that we had a new student, gave a little speech, and then called her over. It was the same girl with the same haughty look. That's when I learned her name was Sarah. "Take any empty seat. It'll be yours for the year," the teacher said. Sarah came straight to my desk. I was confused because I already had a desk mate, the guy I had a crush on. "Emily, would you please move aside and give the new student her seat?" Mrs. Thompson asked. "But why me? There are other empty desks," I protested, not wanting to give up my seat to Sarah. But the teacher moved my things herself. From that day on, school was a nightmare. My things were constantly getting ruined, people laughed at me, and one time someone even cut my hair. My dad had to come and yell at the principal. After that, I had to have my hair cut in a bob for a long time. I still hate this style and now only cut the ends. All because of Sarah. She fit in perfectly and turned the whole class against me. She even managed to ruin my graduation by stepping on the hem of my beautiful long dress and tearing it. I had to go home in tears. My mother sighed and said that she couldn't fix it by hand. She would have to take it to a tailor. Of course, I missed the photos that the hired photographer took. When I got to college, I sighed with relief, hoping that Sarah would finally disappear from my life. But you can imagine my shock when she showed up that fall, not just at the same school, but in the same program. To make matters worse, she lived in the dorm room right next to mine. Luckily, I had made friends with my roommates over the summer and warned them about Sarah. They didn't fall for her wiles when she tried to turn them against me. But Sarah still made my life miserable. She told professors I was cheating, spread dirty rumors about me, and always chose to be the group leader instead of me. I also noticed that whenever I started to like a guy, Sarah would be hanging out with him the next day. I tried to talk to Sarah, asking her why she had targeted me and ruined my life. What had I done to her? "I just don't like you," was the only answer I got. After graduation, we went our separate ways for a while. I became Emily Johnson, got a good job, met a great man, got married, bought a house. We planned to have kids, buy a vacation home, adopt a British Shorthair. We even opened a savings account for our dream home. We went to Florida this year and life was going smoothly. John took me to nice restaurants every weekend, bought me flowers, brought me breakfast in bed, and affectionately called me his little flower. I was truly happy and never stopped telling my aging parents how blessed I was. That day, I was walking home from my parents. My mom was chatting with a friend who was selling her house. When she heard I was looking for a house, she offered to show us around. "It's only an hour from the beach. The air is so fresh and the views are gorgeous. It's a little old and needs some work, but the price reflects that." She sent some photos and I instantly fell in love. It was exactly what I had pictured in my dreams. My parents even offered to help with the down payment so we could buy it right away instead of waiting. I was so excited, I decided to stop by John's office on my way home to tell him the good news. I thought it would be a wonderful surprise. But when I walked in and saw my husband in the arms of my old enemy, my mood quickly soured. "Sarah, you again? Are you stalking me? How long is this going to go on?" I screamed in anger and lunged at her. John tried to stop me, but I gave him such a look that he backed off. "Don't you dare interfere! I'll put an end to this once and for all!" Sarah tried to resist, but my rage gave me strength. I grabbed her arm and slapped her hard across the face. "Stop interfering in my life!" A sharp crack rang out in the silence, and I hit her again. "Why do you always try to ruin everything for me?" I grabbed Sarah by her short hair and yanked her head down. "Remember this. If I ever see you again, even by accident, I swear I will kill you. I've had enough." "What did I ever do to you?" I pushed her away, fixed my disheveled hair, wiped the blood from my lip, and smiled. "What did you do? You were born," Sarah spat. "What are you talking about?" I collapsed into John's chair, exhausted. He moved to the window. "You still don't get it? God, you're an idiot," Sarah laughed hoarsely. "You stole my life. Because of you, I had to survive with an alcoholic mother. Do you know why she drank? Because your father left her when he found out your mother was pregnant. My entire childhood, I listened to her drunken tears and insults, constantly comparing me to you. Why can't you be more like that girl? What's so special about you that you stole my daddy? I hate you. If it weren't for you, I'd be in your place. I would have a kitten. I would have been popular at school. I would have done well in school. Your husband would have been my husband." I listened to Sarah's insane tirade in disbelief. Could my father really do something like that? My husband's betrayal faded into the background as I desperately wanted to get to the bottom of this situation. I walked up to Sarah and pulled out a strand of her hair, along with the napkin she was using to wipe her bloody lip. John tried to say something, but I didn't even turn around. I just paused for a moment to say, "Don't come home. I'm filing for divorce myself. My lawyer will contact me about dividing our assets." I left and went straight to my parents. After much crying, I told them everything that had happened. Then I relayed Sarah's story to my father. "That's impossible. She must be confused." "I've been with your mother since college. I've never even looked at another woman," he insisted. I didn't either. That's why I'm suggesting a DNA test. I met Sarah 3 days later. I had to swallow my pride and call John to tell Sarah I wanted to meet. Why did you want to see me? Sarah asked, hiding her eyes behind her large sunglasses. I grinned and handed her an envelope. These are the results of the paternity test. I haven't opened it yet. Sarah's eyes scanned the text and tables. You faked that somehow. No, Sarah. Just accept the fact that your mother lied to you. She got pregnant by someone unknown and made my father the scapegoat. If you have any more questions, ask her. And don't ever come near me again, or I will take action. After that, I never saw Sarah again. I divorced John and moved into the small house my parents helped me buy. I started working remotely. 4 years later, I met a wonderful man and remarried. First we had a daughter, then a son. I devoted myself entirely to my family. One day, I found a letter in my mailbox with no return address. Inside was a short note apologizing and asking to meet. After reading it, I tore up the paper and threw it in the trash. I didn't need this anymore in my life. Sarah could handle her own problems, and if she ever tried to interfere in my life again, I was ready to fight back. Because this time, I wasn't going to let anyone take away my happiness so easily.